What's going on, everybody? It's Howi Spangler, Tales from the Green Room, episode number 38. Oh, man. Is anybody watching that show, The Haunting of Hill House? Dude, that is the most freakiest, macabre imagery I've seen in a long time. Netflix killed it this time. I mean, this is I've always been really creeped out by morticians and the job that they have to do with dead bodies, and it's always freaked me out since I was a kid. My grandfather died when I was 7, and just feeling him all cold and hard, it was the weirdest thing. And ever since then, I think I don't know, seeing a dead body, I mean, I'm sure most people don't really want to see that, but what they have to do to get them there, it's the crazy things that we do with our dead. But anyway, the show is really feels like they're nailing it on the head. I don't know the extent of what they do, but the show is really hitting it hard. And oh man, because one of the sisters is a mortician. Oh man, I don't want to say anything. You just have to watch it if you haven't seen it yet. But dude, holy shit. Screaming like a little girl. It's fun. It's a good show. It's really fun. It's nice when shows or movies can do that too, Too many really shitty B horror movies out there. There's not enough good grade A slasher films or whatever. And I get I don't watch any of the paranormal found footage ghost movies. I think those are cheesy. I don't know. The whole reality, I don't know, it just doesn't work with me. A good ghost story is great. Dead Silence is a good one. That's just freaky, faces and her face. Scary shit, man. But isn't that wild that we like to be scared? That's always fascinated me as well. One day I'll get to the bottom of it all. Today, I'm talking to my homie Mike Pinto. He's moved all around the country in his career, settling in different cities just to kind of get different vibes and maybe try to inspire his writing. And he's been around for a long time just doing it. And he took a little break, but now he's starting to come back. And I really think everybody should go check out his music. He's really good songwriter, and he's a great dude. And you should definitely check him out when you get a chance. Got some Ballyhoo shows coming up. We're going to be out with Real Big Fish in a couple weeks again, finishing up the second leg of the fall tour with them. Get tickets at ballyhoorocks.com/tour. And then we're doing some headliners down in Florida starting November 30th. I think we're doing 7 shows or 6 shows, something like that. Anyway, hope to catch you. And then December 22nd, we're going to be at the Loonies in Bel Air. Always a shit show there. Should be great. It's right before Christmas. It's going to be a fun time. So look out for that. And I guess that's it. Let's talk to Mike Pinto. Mike, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? I'm in the green room.
You're in the green room now.
Oh my God.
Welcome to the green room.
Happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Well, shit, finally.
I know. I've seen you in real green rooms.
Yeah.
All across this great land.
Yeah, we've had many good times together.
Mm-hmm.
So when was the first, I was trying to think, when was that show? What was the first show that we met you and you were dressed like Buddy Holly? And we thought that's how you dressed. This must be his thing.
You thought it was a shtick. I felt so inadequate after you told me that you believe that I would have a shtick, that I would dress like Buddy Holly regularly. I thought I was cooler in my mind than that. But I guess that was Halloween of 2006 because I had just moved. So that was the first time. I just moved from Pennsylvania to San Diego, and we were playing random gigs everywhere. I would just play anywhere that they would have me, and I rented a tux for the weekend, and it was like 2 days after Halloween, so it was not really like appropriate to be wearing Halloween, so I rented it for the weekend. So I figured I'd ride it out on all my gigs.
You staying in the spirit, you know. It was cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was cool. You did look cool though.
Yeah, it was a good Halloween outfit.
It was.
I learned a few Buddy Holly tunes. That was cool. I should bring that back.
You should bring it back. What was the name of the place? It was the something kitchen or something?
I don't even remember. That was the one and only time I ever played there. That's just like
same.
That was just when you move to a town in Blitzkrieg, every single place that has an open mic or whatever. I played everywhere, and I don't know. I guess I probably MySpaced you.
It's very possible.
And asked you if you needed an opener.
It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Yeah, it was a something kitchen, like not the beat kitchen, but something, I don't know, Hell's Kitchen or some shit. But yeah, it was like downtown San Diego.
Yeah, those places down there have like heavy turnover. So that place has probably been like 4 dance clubs since then.
Wow.
Yeah. Downtown San Diego is a weird beast. I try to stay away from it, which is so strange because San Diego is so beautiful, and like downtown to me anyway is not a good reflection on the rest of the city, and yet like everybody goes down to that convention center and plays down there, or visits, and I'm like, this is the opposite of, the Gaslamp District is night and day from the rest of that city. But interesting enough, good song fodder.
Yeah, definitely. We've had many good shows out there in San Diego. It's just a beautiful place, like, in the more country spots and the beach spots.
Yeah, I know you guys hit up 710 a lot. That place is always a raging time. I was living down in OB, and PB was just as raging. And it was a great idea I had to move to San Diego from Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania. But now I'm back on the East Coast, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah,
I'm like 2 states away now. I'm in New Jersey now.
Yeah, you're not far. I knew you were back. There was like a shift in the force. There was this weird vibration that happened. I was making cookies with my daughter in the kitchen. It was like there was this kind of, and I just stopped, and it was like, he's back.
Yeah, you've been sleeping better ever since.
I've been sleeping
like a
better.
baby.
The migraines went away. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I definitely am glad I did everything I did. And I'm glad I'm back. I just, me and my girl just got engaged and bought a house, and so that's exciting. And now I'm finally getting back on the horse here. I've been bouncing around. I mean, I saw you. I lived up in Eugene, Oregon for a hot second.
Yeah.
I saw you up there. I don't know what I was doing. I was just really going with the flow for a while, and I needed to stop. I was like, yes, man. I just kept saying yes to every possible scenario, hoping that it would lead me in whatever direction I'm supposed to go, and I just kind of end up right back.
Mm-hmm.
When you're searching for something, you usually do a total 360, and it just comes right back to, you end up right where you were in the beginning, and it's kind of funny that way. But I'm excited. I'm closer to family, and finally starting to get some tour dates back rolling again. So that's exciting.
I feel like it's easier to tour on the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing is that all the guys that I had like a lot of different musician and subs on the West Coast, and I really am kind of starting again here as far as finding horn section, and I need to kind of get that all dialed in, because I keep flying guys over. I need to, do kind of a West Coast tour and an East Coast tour and get a little more organized here. But
you always seem to find really good players, no matter what.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was so fucking cool.
I've been lucky in that sense. Well, I got to give a lot of credit to like Max O'Leary and Josh Mollet, who were part of that Ichiban Horns. They were called Hornitos with Tribal Seeds. But I've been playing with those guys for like 10 years, and they really have been like, when somebody fell off, they were kind of like, well, why don't we try these guys? And it's tough though, because it's a double-edged sword, because some of the guys I knew were LA guys, and it's tough for them to, they got to survive over there. It's kind of like New York, it's like, well, you got to pay them as much as they're making when they're home for it to make it worth their while. But I've been really, really lucky to have good musicians along the way. But I was thinking about you, in Ballyhoo. You guys are talking about your 20 years, same band. I'm like, I think I've been through like 9 bands. Seriously, like since before I moved, since I was 21, so I mean, as tough as it is, and like that's so cool that you guys have a core of people, that for the most part, that has stayed with you the whole time. I'm sure it has its positives and negatives, but as far as strength in numbers, being on the road and having that, unit of people who are, charging through it, it's definitely helpful.
Yeah, it's not easy to keep something like this together, especially
No
for
way.
as long as we've been doing it. And it really, the first episode I did of this show was about starting a band and how tough it is to keep together, because it's so easy to find people that just aren't in it for the right reasons, and they're not as hungry as you are. And it's like, it's really tough to find people that have the same mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And you also want to get skilled players as well. You can't, like, we wouldn't pick up, if somebody left the band right now, we wouldn't pick up just some fucking anybody. We'd do extensive searches to make sure we had the right guy that could play well and keep up. And, also being a fit with the rest of the band, personality wise,
mm-hmm.
I feel
and you could be a good musician, but you just might not be a good fit with the style. I mean, that definitely happens.
Yeah,
a lot.
absolutely.
I mean, that's happened with me, and I've kind of, in the transition of a couple different bands, I've just been so, I was so hungry when I moved out here, moved out to the West Coast. I'm not there anymore. That I just started grabbing people, and then that I thought were good or had connections to shows, in the area, because I knew 0 people. I had $600 in my pocket. Nobody. Crashed on a couch for a while. And so I found good musicians, but they were, some with, I played like different types of ska and reggae, and you find just roots guys, and roots guys can't, some roots drummers, they want to play that, third wave ska. Some people have difficulty with it just as much as a rock guy trying to play a one drop, you know what I mean? So it's a trying business, that going in and out, and people change. I mean, over the years, you have different priorities. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. You definitely, I'm sure you can agree that you made the best of the decisions that you could at the time, and then everything else just, you just went in that direction with the best intentions. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But made a lot of good friends, and I have relatively good contacts with a lot of the people who I played with. And then I see, I was playing in Philly with like Chris Powers before, who was a bass player in the Hip Abduction. He backed my first record, and then he went off teaching in like Micronesia, and was teaching English out there. Really educated guy. And that's how we parted ways. And he ended up in Florida, and I still connect with them, and they're doing great things now. They're about to put out their like 4th album.
Yeah, those guys have been getting around. I've been hearing about them a lot more lately.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember who they're with, but they have a good booking agency, I think now. And David is doing a great job on the video side. They have really cool videos on top of good songs. They're adventurous guys down there. They like to hit all those islands and explore all that. You see that in their music, and that's what's interesting about them. They use their geographical location and integrate that into their music, which is really cool. So you're getting a flavor of parts of Florida and the cross between, oh God, I don't want to get too technical on trying to describe what they do, but
Go for it.
There's definitely a world feel, a world beat to some of their songs, so which is cool.
Yeah, there's it's not easy when you're like writing songs and when you want to incorporate things around you and stuff. It's not easy to like to do it and make it authentic. I love like for instance, like the Mad Caddies just put out that new record, and it's all punk songs, but it's all reggae, right?
Huh. I gotta listen to that.
Yeah, really cool. And you can tell that they're not playing so much on like a rock drum kit. It's definitely more of like a dub type of kit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and like all the instruments and stuff, it's just and the approach was just reggae as fuck. And
wow.
It's not like a rock band playing reggae songs. Like it just sounds like a reggae record. And it just makes it sound so much more authentic that way. And I think bands can learn a lot from that, because you hear all the time. You hear, like even my band, like we play reggae, but it's more from a rock approach.
Yeah, you guys like to rock.
Yeah, we like to rock. And when I hear when you hear like a brand new record that sounds like it was recorded, in the fucking 70s at, in Jamaica, it's, I don't know, that's saying something. It's attention to detail, and I really appreciate that,
Yeah, because you have to do your research. You got to do your homework, because you might be comfortable in a studio you've been recording a couple albums in, but not only do you got to get the right producer, the right gear, the right, even the right song arrangements. You have to sometimes, a lot of times, even with me, like I always needed a bridge in my songs. Before my last record, I'm like, "Where's the bridge to bring this up?" Now I go and listen to songs. I'm like, no one gives a shit about bridges anymore. So
or guitar solos.
Yes, yeah, which is good, because that's not my specialty anyway.
Can't play them anyway.
Good. Let's just rip that page out of the book. So yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Well, that was good for me last time. I played a couple solos on the last record, but I had some good. I had that guy Sergio Rios, who's in that band Orgon, and he's a fantastic lead guitarist for that band. They're like soul funk. So there's kind of like, I left a couple spaces in the record, and it's kind of like, come on, what do you do? What would you do here? And he stepped up and was like happy to be on that, so that was cool. That was fun. That was the first time I recorded on tape too. We did a little Tascam. I think it was 244 it was called. I always get mixed up with the gear, but it was called like 1/4-inch tape or something.
Yeah. And
we did like drums, bass, guitar, and organ live. That was really fun.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, that's what it's like, that's the only thing is like, I'm like, I was impressed by it, but you miss, and I really love the musicians. I had that guy Buddha Foster used to play with Through the Roots on a lot of the bass, John Asher from the Expanders, Roger Rivas on the keys, organ from the Agrolites, and then the horns, my friends were on the horns, Josh, Eric Hirschhorn, and Max O'Leary. So it was really fun to do that and do it live. That pressure is a high. but the editing is, almost non-existent, and there's definitely, some noises that I wish I could take out, like that your first impulse is like, how do we get rid of that? You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, dude, there is no getting rid of that.
Yeah, it's there forever, dude. Sorry.
Yeah. So, it was kind of cool. And I think, putting that on a vinyl and listening to it, and I'm like, oh, like, everybody needs to listen to this record on a vinyl. And, but I realized later that I'm like, oh shit, most people are not going to listen to that in the way I want them to, in that form. But, maybe one day, it'll get a little bit, I'm sure that you're never going to get that sound, that hiss, from the speakers of the vinyl. And I think sometimes my material needs to be that. Or you talk about Mad Caddies, if they're trying to sound more authentic, you put that into like MP3 and someone's going to listen to that on a crude device or whatever, and they're just not going to get 100% of it. So that's something that I hope, and I'm sure will get improved upon in the future of recording.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of like tape simulators and analog noise that you can, like plugins you can add add that sound, those little noises and hums and things into, to kind of get that more vinyl sound, or just more fat analog. There's definitely ways to do it, but that's cool that you think of those things.
Well, I definitely wanted to have something different. Not we get older and you just like, I did this, and let me try this now, just to say I did it. And I really, I liked the sound of the Expanders records, and I kept going, oh, who recorded that? And then the horns would go in there for some sessions, and it was in North Hollywood, but I think he moved. I think he's near Santa Cruz now. I'm not sure what he's doing, but another guy looking for a change up in NorCal. Seems to be a lot of people heading to Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz is
away from LA.
Yeah, I get that. Santa Cruz is beautiful, man. Like,
yeah. It's I wish I would have spent a little more time up in NorCal just to kind of experience it more. I mean, touring, just you passing through all the time, but
yeah, people think you're like hanging out and doing things, and it's like, nah, man, we're like on the move constantly.
Yeah.
Like I've been to Santa Cruz many times, and I've seen 2 spots.
Yeah.
Like, in the last 12 years of touring, you just go and go and go.
Yeah, the fans, you need a good tour guide, man, to really give you the 3-hour tour of where they grew up and give you the best of it as quick as you can. Just be like, oh, from the window of the van or the bus or whatever.
Yeah, the first time I ever saw the Grand Canyon was about 10 minutes before the sun went down, which was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But then it was dark. You couldn't see anything.
Yeah, and that's out of the way.
And you're like, okay, check that one off the list,
Yeah, there's no way to, that's not on the way to anything.
No, it's not.
Go to the Grand Canyon on its own. Yeah.
And we once, we always pass Meteor Crater Road in Arizona.
Yeah.
And
off the 40 probably.
Yeah, it's off the 40. And so we went there one time. We were like, fuck it, let's just go. We're always driving by here. And it's like 6 miles off the highway, so you really got to go there. And made our way up there, and you can flip to the AM station, and they're like giving you facts about it on the way. It's pretty cool. You're like getting all psyched. And you get there, and it's like this giant hill, and there's this little building. You got to walk up the steps and go to the building, and it's like $15. You're like, dude. And we're like, I'm not making any money at this point. This is like 10 years ago. I was like, $15 to see a fucking hole in the ground?
Right.
And so we never got to see it. But there is this giant hill, man. It's wild. Just this huge. It's crazy. You just think about how small you are.
Yeah. Reminds me of the story. we were driving like one of the few times when you're driving through like Wyoming and Montana, and it's like Yellowstone, right? And I'm on some early shift driving. All the guys are sleeping. It's really early. It was 6 a.m. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to totally surprise these guys. There's the exit says Yellowstone, right? And I get off the exit. I'm like, okay. And it's like 40 miles. I'm like, oh, shit.
40 miles. Woo.
Yeah, it was like way, the entrance into it was like 40 miles in. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to surprise these guys. And we got the time. And I drive the 40 miles all the way there. And it was winter. And they fucking the exit was closed. The entrance was closed. And I get there and I'm like, so fucking heated. And I turn around, and I'm fucking cursing and I'm just like, son of a bitch, I wanted to do something cool on like the one day off we had. And then like someone wakes up and is like some smart ass are like, dude, what the hell's taking us so long to get here? Like, I never even told them. I was trying to take them to Yellowstone National Park. I'm like, motherfucker.
Oh, it sucks. Yeah, and 40 miles in that part of the country like takes at least an hour.
And you're pulling a trailer, so
yeah.
it's really 80.
Yeah.
So it was really 80, then I got back on. I was like an hour and a half of just bullshit driving, So it's like,
yeah, just totally out of the way.
Trying to squeeze in some good times in between your 6-8 hour drives up in the Northwest.
Oh man, yeah, I know. I've done that too. Like another spot. I want to go to Tombstone. I've never been to Tombstone.
No, me neither.
And it's always like I want to say it's like exit 3 or something. It's in Arizona. There's a town called Benson, and then if you take that exit where Benson is, I believe, and you got to drive like 20 some miles. It's like 23 miles or something like that just to get there. And I'm just like, man, it just never feels like the right time,
Yeah.
And I really want to go really bad. So I'm hoping that I can like convince the guys to do it one day. Like it's like, but out there, it's like, even with a day off, it's like, there's just nothing. So you have to just keep driving, in order to get there on time. So it's like, it's hard to stop.
Yeah. It's hard to make some plans on West Coast touring because there's so many long drives, 6 to 8 hours. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, every hour is gone is like, you gotta wake up at 7 a.m. and no one really feels like doing that unless you go on the bus. But
yeah, one thing that was cool about driving, we were driving, I want to say from like Seattle or somewhere in Washington down through Oregon, and it was the 4th of July, and I was driving, and it was like over the course of several hours, it was pretty cool, man. Like because there's a lot of like the road it'll open up to like just giant lakes and things, and you'll see mountains, and it's gorgeous. And over the course of several hours, you'd see like different towns having their fireworks displays and stuff, and so it was kind of cool. It was a nice drive on the way down, get to see something neat, explosions in the sky.
Yeah, as long as you're not catching too much rain up there, you're good. Do you go up to Canada? Do you guys play up in Canada much?
Not too much. We've been to Vancouver once with Real Big Fish, and on this coast we've been to Montreal and Toronto.
Yeah, I've never been over there on the east. I did Vancouver once, and I thought that was going to be great, and it ended up being like we were in like Chinatown, they called it, and we pulled in, and there's like literally a guy shooting up in the alley where we're loading in, and just like,
damn,
there was a lot of drugs.
That's crazy.
I was like, man, the show ended up being like a sold out show. We played with the Agrolites.
Oh, killer!
Really fun. Yeah, we did the West Coast with them. That was years ago.
Damn.
And we couldn't find anything to do, and we ended up in like days in that looked like we might as well have been in like Des Moines, Iowa. You're just like, shit. Like that's when you need the good tour guide, the Canadian tour guide.
Yeah, for sure. We went up there. Was it Vancouver or Montreal? I can't remember which Canadian city we were in, but we were on tour with Real Big Fish. Maybe it was the Vancouver one. And we get there, and like right, like a few doors down from the venue, Ed from Real Big Fish like takes the guys like Donald and Nick and because those guys all smoke weed together all the time, and they took them down. There's like $5. You walk in to do like $5 dabs and then just walk out. It's like a bar for dabs.
Dabs to go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and we got shit to do, you know. So
yeah,
but
everything gets condensed on the road.
Yeah. But I just thought that was really cool that you could do that. Yeah, we've had
now
fun
it's
times.
Legal now it's all legal everywhere up there.
Wild.
I know.
What a time to be alive.
I know it's gonna be. I wonder if they're gonna let they give more hassles on the borders. Still, I'm technically a felon there because I got a DUI like years ago. And it's like
they don't like that.
10 years. 10 years. It's a felony.
We've had to leave crew guys in hotel rooms in Buffalo because they weren't allowed to go over for that kind of shit.
Yeah, they say you could go to like LA if you're on the West Coast and you have to pay like a lot of money just to make it okay.
It's wild. Word. All right, so we've been friends for a while, and we've done several tours together.
And
and
my first tour, I think, my first legit tour.
Yeah.
I was acoustic with B Foundation and you guys, and we did the East Coast.
Man, that's right. God damn.
Yeah.
I talk about the B to this day. I still chat with Jason every now and then, and just good dude. And
yeah, man.
Those guys were just fun to tour with. We've done so much touring with that band, and man, it was great.
Yeah, that was the 4th of July where Pat, like, we were drinking bottle of whiskey, I think was his thing. Or might have been drinking, like, vodka. Might have been on a vodka stage, but
yeah.
he ended up passing out, like, outside of the car, and he woke up with, like, 200 mosquito bites all over his body. And he was just scratching for the rest of the tour. That was really fun. And then that was the time when they put all the homoerotic magazine stuff and wrapped your van in it.
It was fucking glorious.
That was my first, like, real tour with bands, not like piecing together acoustic stuff on my own. And then you guys got me on, you and Jason got me on that union artist booking agency. That was my first thing.
That's right.
So, yeah, you guys were my sponsors.
Damn, see?
I know. See, you guys helped me along the way.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, I've addressed this before, but, like, this is, it's not a fucking competition. There's no reason for bands and artists to, like, hate on each other and try to keep each other down. And if I know something, if I figure something out, whether it's through experience, maybe I had a shitty time, but I figured out how to do it the right way, or somebody told me how to do it, I'm going to pass it on, Like, I'm not going to keep that to myself. Like, and I think that can be a thing sometimes, where somebody wants to hold that over you, dangle it like the carrot or something,
I definitely could see it. You know what? I'm thinking about it a lot too, because it's, I had a period of, like, bitterness because, things didn't work exactly the way you wanted to. And I've learned to finally let that shit go because so many things are going against you in the beginning. So you kind of feel, I think it's like when you're in a band and it's like us against the world type of attitude, because it's like a survival thing for a long time. So, like, somebody comes across and it's not, like, all love, or, egos clash, which they just do because dealing with sensitive individuals, then I think it's just another thing. It's us against them type of thing. I think that's where it might come from. I think it's just, I have a competitive nature, and I just wanted to win. I didn't want anybody else to lose, but if I felt like I was wronged, then then it's like, just one more obstacle to overcome type of thing, some like bullshit scenario that I've been guilty of.
Right.
And I think it just comes with, you know, you need to grow up a little bit, you know, and you get in your own head, in your own world with the touring thing that, you know, I wish I would have documented a lot more because I kind of was in during a very crucial time of this genre, and then I peeled off because I wasn't sure if it was exactly what I wanted. And I wish I just would have kind of like kept better records of it. You know what I mean? There wasn't Instagram and things you could go and check back on. You know, other than collecting flyers and posters and stuff. But yeah. I mean, you and you know, you're definitely one of the people who've always been such a big help. So I'm always in Ballyhoo's corner, that's for sure. So.
Oh man, it's fucking nothing, man. You know, it's like I said, I don't. If someone, I get a lot of questions. That's partly why I started doing this show, is because I get so many questions on the road from young artists that don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they just want, you know, I've had both. Mostly it's like, dude, how do you get this, and how does this happen, and like, oh my god, what can we do, you know? And I'll explain it, and they're like, okay, cool, and they go off and they put in the work. But then I've had people approach me, and oh my god, it was fucking hilarious. It was like, hey man, how did you guys get so big? I'm like, well, I mean, we're not like huge, but I mean, yeah, okay, we're doing some things. Yeah, so we did this, we did that. You got to work hard. You got to go play, whatever. You got to, you know,
play in every city in the country.
Do it all, right? Anywhere and everywhere. And he's like, well, I mean, I don't want to like play for like 10 people, you know. I just want to do it. I'm like,
wants a shortcut.
I was like, dude, this is you. We have to stop talking now. Like this is like, this is not. That's the wrong attitude. You know?
Yeah, that goes against everything that you stand for. You and you guys stand for. You guys just charge. I mean, Ballyhoo. I mean, dude, that's it. That's like a charge in and of itself in the word.
Yeah,
you know?
Don't forget the exclamation. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's what that is. And for someone to say that, it's like almost insulting. You know, it's like, good luck with your fucking career, dude. Like this is not. I'm not trying to be a dick, but Jesus Christ, you know, you don't want to work. Like, don't talk to me about fucking work. You know.
Yeah.
And I know you've put in the time and you've done a lot. That tour with the B Foundation was great. And then we did was that Summer Sound System, or was that later?
That was the first one. Oh no, then the next one that we did was together. We did Summer Sound System.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So then we did the whole summer.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Always had good times with you.
Good shows.
Yeah, always good shows, and that was a good time to be playing in the genre for sure. It was still it's definitely still growing, but it's definitely as big as it's ever been. You know,
definitely. I mean, I definitely would kick myself because I wasn't, you know, like I said before, I went through so many different bands, and you kind of start believing, you know. I don't know if it's doubt, but you're kind of just, you want to follow what's working, you know, for you and your career. And for some reason, I just couldn't hang on to a band. It became very difficult, different guys. And it wasn't like for any malicious reasons or anything, you know, different guys wanted to go on different paths and families. And I was kind of like, well, maybe my path is supposed to go this way. And as I, you know, decided to calm down, you know, and plus I was out there grinding. I didn't know anybody on the West Coast, so I kind of like, you know, I really was obsessed, you know, with playing, and it was like in every movement of my life, you know, like everything I did was music related. If I left the house, it was probably to go print out flyers or something.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, it definitely should be. Yeah. And it was certainly working, you know, when you make it. I just, for a while, you know, you want to have that unit, that people to enjoy it with, or, I don't know, it's just not as fun.
I imagine the hindrance of, I mean, that's got to be frustrating when you can't keep a band together. Like you're constantly, you think it feels like you're constantly like looking for new guys to fill the space.
Yeah,
and that should be the least,
too.
Yeah, you should not have to worry about that. It should be about just, okay, where do we go next? Like, instead of trying to, you got to regroup and you got to, audition and people got to learn the songs all over again. It's just like, I can imagine that would be really frustrating.
Yeah.
And stressful.
I mean, it definitely did. And then, I had a couple opportunities to write songs and then, did that for a while, but then I missed the playing and definitely, so now I feel like I'm kind of back where I need to be and that's exciting. And, there's definitely a lot of people who have seen me and kind of happy to see me play again. So that just makes me feel good. And just to see the scene and see the potential, of knowing that it could do great, and do big things and seeing it happen for people who've been grinding and you're like, okay, there's still potential here.
It's inspiring.
Yeah. And, you don't have to be 22 years old to be successful and grind,
The age thing is something I think that died out a long time ago, the whole age thing.
Yeah.
If you want to be a pop star, maybe, but
look at come on, people are in their 50s now. They just take care of themselves. I think the whole thing, is you got to take care of yourself. Which takes a lot of practice.
A lot of practice, a lot of surgery here in
in some cases.
Botox, whatever. But
couple stays down in Florida at some special hotels.
Yeah, staple the stomach back, things like that. No, I mean, for sure, commitment. It's longevity is key, man. Longevity. It's and I just did an episode of the show about the idea of selling out and how it's probably mostly when bands they change their. My kind of a definition is like when a band or an artist like changes their sound or their message to stay relevant and make money.
With a passing fad or whatever it may be.
Exactly, like a fad. That's a great way. I should have brought that up. Glad you said that. Yeah, because there are so many fads. Like there were bands that we were playing with that were mixing dubstep into their.
Oh God, remember dubstep?
Yeah, remember that whole fucking mess.
I had management that picked me up that were in dubstep, and they were, all their bands were on like Lollapalooza, and I was like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
But once that thing crashed, no one was getting help. No one was getting back on Wakarusa again, being a dubstep band. That went away.
It's just funny. It's just another reason to stick to your guns.
Yeah, but that's tough too, because like right now I'm at this point where I feel like something is different for me. Not like a sharp right turn, but like an evolution needs to continue to happen. But I'm not really sure what I want to do. I'm just trying to, pinpoint exactly what interests me. It's so crazy because what's interesting to me now is like old Jamaican recordings. It's funny you talk about that reggae and dub, and I'm like, I never was really as interested, but I'm gravitating towards that old Lee Scratch Perry and sound and Peter Tosh records.
You would crush that, dude. You would kill
It's crazy that I kind of look at myself. I go, "What the hell took me so long to think about this?" Or like get on that level. It's always been there. I always loved the old recordings of the Wailers, and I even like Lee Scratch Perry's new records. I actually went and saw him play in Asbury Park 2 weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
Oh, what a trip that guy is. He's got pink hair. He had glitter on him. I was like...
Killer, dude. He's a fucking stripper now.
I know. I was like, this is not what I was expecting. But it was kind of fun just to see it. But they didn't have a drum and bass. They had like a DJ, and it was cool because what they were playing was cool. A bunch of guys from like Brooklyn. But I wanted to hear that bass and drums, that authentic pocket. And so I was a little bummed at that, but it was still inspiring. But I want to do everything. That's my thing. Howie is, I think that's where it's, I think if I was born in a different time, I just would want to be in like a small room with like with a black tie and a white button down with a piano and smoking like pack of cigarettes a day, trying to write hits for people. Like I think like
you still could.
Yeah, I know. I got to start smoking, but I don't know why. I think I like it's the East Coast Sicilian in me that wants that pressure and that stress, and I guess that I still want to overcome. And I was thinking about that the other day too, and how I don't know if it's just me, but maybe we got it so good in these times that you put obstacles in front of you to try to overcome them. I don't know why. I need to like change my mentality completely, but it's just something that maybe my folks kind of came from. They were poor growing up, and their grandparents were poor, and they had these obstacles and they overcame them, and I think there was something so sweet in their advancement, in the United States, that I think that I attach that as success, as I psychoanalyze myself. Let me lay down on the couch here, but
tell me about your mother.
Yeah,
well, it's they went from like the plight of being like a poor immigrant, right?
Yeah.
To like a little small American success story in that they survived.
My grandfather didn't own a pair of shoes till he was 18. He was living in Italy. He was born in America, but then went back to Italy because his mother got sick and passed away. He was in Italy, and he had no shoes. He was working on a farm, just growing tomatoes and whatever was in the seasonal part outside of Naples. It's like, there was a struggle, and then and that same kind of thing happened with my dad, and they elevated themselves, and I love that story. I love that underdog story, and I hang on to it, and I think I put that into my music about being an underdog.
Certainly.
It's you write what you know type of thing.
Yeah,
so,
and that's all you should write about.
Yeah.
It really is, man. People see through bullshit.
Yeah. I need to hurry up and write more music because think about it. I want to have a concept album. You know what I mean? You don't get that anymore.
Dude, I totally know what you mean. I'm going through that right now. I'm figuring this out right now. Yep.
Yeah, because you could do anything now. You see it in other mediums, like in film especially. Now everybody's doing you can have a 5-act play, which is like an EP for movies. I guess HBO had a couple series that were just 5 episodes where you couldn't tell the story in 2 hours. It's
the arc is so huge. It's like you got to go a full season.
Yeah, you got to extend it. Yeah, so I have ideas in that sense. And I mean, have you ever done anything else outside of writing? Have you ever done any other type of writing or thought about short story or I mean, you have some stories, in your songs.
Yeah, for sure. We did on our new record. There's a song called "Riddled with Bullets," and
I remember. I think I listened to something with the podcast. You described it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's like to me kind of opened a doorway for whatever the next thing that we're gonna do. It's like a mini rock opera. It's only 3.5 minutes, but the parts go so fast. There's only a few parts to the song. Well, there's I don't know, there's maybe 5 parts of the song that are different from each other. You got your verse, your chorus, and then there's this metal post-hardcore breakdown, and then this kind of other metal thing, and then this, and then it's a pop punk song at the same time. It's like all these things happening at once, and it's like everything that Ballyhoo's like known for, with this added like metal thing, right? But for whatever reason, it works, and it's crafted, like arranged like so well. At least I think it's just very smooth and just like fuck. And like the metal thing will hit you. You're like, whoa, what the fuck is this? But you learn to like love it at the end. At least that's what I've heard from our fans. And I was
the theme of the song, and the energy of what you're trying to get across sounds like.
Yeah, and like for whatever reason, it works. And at the end, I didn't know how the fans were going to take it. I figured maybe that they might dig it, but luckily they do, and it just seems to be, it's one of the favorite songs on the album.
Nice.
And so that really got me thinking about, what if we were to do some sort of a concept record? And this has been a thought in the past, but like this is just one step closer. Like, man, that worked. Like, what if we just built this out and did fucking like one long album where you have to listen front to back for it to make sense lyrically, the story. But the music really takes you through these different movements. And like a roller coaster, you know?
I would encourage it, as long as you can, break it down theme by theme. Like you want to kind of have your, a lot of these plays are like 3 acts, and they have, I was gravitating towards like writing a screenplay before. I kind of started, but I've been moving around so much. I need to have the space for that, and I finally got it, which is a blessing. But if you break it down, start it with, if you do like 3 acts, and that's the way plays are broken down in, and try not to overwhelm yourself, and you might be able to get those 3 songs, and then if there's other ways you want to tie those together, those can be small songs. I mean, what's kind of cool now is, I always felt like you had to have like at least a 3-minute song, but if you have a concept album and you need to get a point across, if it takes 45 seconds to do that, then do it.
Yeah.
You can have 9 songs if it's a concept album, and 4 of them could be like a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be kind of cool.
Dude, it's all art, Yeah. To me, there's like, if you're not trying to be like some big famous fucking rock star or big pop star or something like that, you like, the pressure is off. Like, you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no fucking rules, as an indie artist. If your goal is to like just put out music that's therapeutic for yourself, and maybe some people will pick up on it, and maybe make a comfortable living, which I feel is what we're doing at the moment. Like, we don't need to be rich rock stars. We just need to be, be able to pay some bills and feel good about what we're doing. And there's no rules, man. So if you want to make a concept record and 4 of the songs are a minute long, like, I think people would dig that. And, I'm going to go the other way if I ever actually do this, but like, the Green Day guys, when they did American Idiot, those 2 songs, Jesus of Suburbia and Homecoming, they're like 9 minutes long each.
Oh yeah.
And they're like 3 or 4 movements in each song. And they actually have like separate titles for each part and all that. And hold on, my daughter's in here. Hold on, baby.
Yeah, I know. I'm walking my dog in and out of the house. I don't know what he's trying to do. Right
on. No, she was just like grabbing my mouse over here and like moving it and doing things like, don't do that. I'll be up in a little bit.
She's like, I got a song idea right now. Let's open Pro Tools.
Yeah. She's like, I got this, Dad. Those guys, when they were doing that record, like, they had this exercise where each guy would write like a minute song or a 30-second song or something like that. And it didn't matter what style it was, just write a 30-second song. And they were like, okay, now let's connect them. And they're like, okay. And then they figured out ways to make the transitions happen. And then it just built out and out and out. And they added more parts. And like, it just became this thing. And so when you listen to a song like Jesus of Suburbia, it starts one way and it ends like another way. It's completely explosive at the end, and just, it goes through these different kind of weird emotions and stuff throughout the 9 minutes. But it's like perfectly constructed to where it never lags and never feels weird. It's just fucking, I don't know. And that's like the goal, man.
Yeah, because you can also, I think, you know, you don't have to pressure yourself with I have to write this incredible story, this like timeless story, you know, whereas these guys just wrote something off the cuff, and then molded it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Into something that fits instead of getting, because, you know, when you think about, I mean, to me, there's nothing more frightening than when you just finish a record and you're just like, I will never write a song again. You know, you're just like, that was it. I just blew my whole load and now it's over. And I have nothing left in the tank right now. So, but then of course, you know, you get the ideas and that's what's great about the muse and everything. But I'm trying to figure out other ways to achieve that. I just went to a antique store and got like an old Hammond. And this is like not a B3, but it's like, it was like $20. I couldn't pass it up.
Wow.
And it fired up, and it's kind of like an accordion.
Oh, neat.
With with your left hand, you play the chords, and then you just play like a melody with your right hand, and you can do different, you know, you can do pipes, or you can do flutes, or you can do regular organ, different instruments. So it's actually in my trailer right now. My buddy's gonna come over and help me load it in, but it's like, maybe that's what, if you're thinking different like that, it's like, maybe different instruments gotta get involved as well, because that's how you get something fresh, or you start off with an idea on, you know, I'm trying to get involved with the keys of finally unpacking everything in the studio. I mean, I've pretty much gutted my house to start again, and I'm done moving. I can't take it anymore. I moved like 4 times in 4 years. Plus, I moved, like, living in San Diego is like musical chairs with landlords involved, and the places were just getting smaller and smaller. So, you know, I'm just glad to plant roots in here, and hopefully we'll cross paths, and I can tell you how this organ's going. But especially you're talking about opera, you know, you're talking about rock opera. You would think that there might need some other new instrumentation.
Sure. Yeah, there's it's good that you mentioned that. Like, anytime I pick up like a weird or different instrument, something that's not a guitar, like you do get inspiration, like the juices kind of start flowing, and
yeah, because you're not thinking scales, and you're not thinking,
yeah, you're trying to figure this thing out, like how
yeah,
to
you're
play
just like humming a melody, and
Yeah.
that's what it's all about, is the melody in the first place. So.
Yeah, I my son was looking at ukuleles recently, and we were at one of the guitar stores around here, and they had some ukuleles, and I just grabbed one and just immediately just started plucking at it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I just like wrote this, 30-second song, right there.
Yeah.
You know, and that wouldn't have happened had we not walked into that store and picked up a ukulele. Another thing for me is when I go to like friends' houses or something, and there's an acoustic guitar chilling in the corner, or a piano, I'll just go over there and start playing, and things start to happen. As opposed to, like, if I sit here in my studio with my guitars, I can't come up with shit, right?
Yeah, I've been feeling that way too.
It's the weirdest thing. But that's when I break out the voice notes and start, recording everything, just make sure that I can take it home with me and work on it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get, to where you're at, where you have your studio lined up, and at least can get it out, because I got a bunch of voice notes, like a lot of people's houses, and me singing in the car on the road somewhere.
Yeah, very crudely done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a ton of those. I got so many voice notes on my phone. It's crazy. But yeah, I was talking to Greg the other day. Did a podcast with him a few days ago, and brought it up how, like, I've always wanted a studio since I was a kid, I've always been like recording myself like in any way possible. There's a tape, there's a tape somewhere, probably in a landfill or in the ocean or something by now, from 1989 of me singing Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood front to back. And
that should be a bonus song if you ever find it.
I would love to make a bonus track of this. But Donald and I had matching tape recorders. And so I took one of them and put the Dr. Feelgood album in it. And I put the other tape recorder about a foot away from it, facing it, and recorded it with like a Maxell 90-minute tape or whatever it was. And I sat in the middle and sang into the recorder over top of Vince Neil for the entire record. And it's
that was what we did. That was the old days.
It was the way to do it. So somewhere there's a tape, a recording of a little 8-year-old boy singing "She Goes Down" to Motley Crue songs. Oh, I wish I could find that tape. It got lost in the shuffle.
I had that Fisher Price, that two-tone brown little tape recorder, and I would just you push record and play. It was as simple as it gets. It had a built-in mic.
I forgot about that, man.
I mean, I had that. That was, early playing guitar, 15 years old, That was before they had cell phones. That's what we did. And you just had tapes. That was it.
Yeah, that's all you had. I had friends, I remember I was like 17, 18, 19 maybe, and I had some other friends that were in bands, and one of my friends, Nomel, he got a hold of a 4-track, and I was like, dude, can I borrow it? Just for tonight. And I literally had the thing for like 12 hours. But I took it home that night, and I recorded so much shit. I learned how to use this thing in like an hour and just started recording and just had all this stuff. It was crazy. I had always dreamed of being able to have my own gear. And to the point where a few years ago, like before I had what I have now, I didn't even have a space. Like I was in a little apartment, and I had to go into the closet in my bedroom and set up whatever gear I had. And I didn't know how to use it. So every time I had a chance to do it, I couldn't do it every day like I can now. So I would forget what I did last time and have to relearn it. And like, I could never figure out why I couldn't hear myself. I'm like, what, all these things. And by the time I got set up to do it, I either forgot what I wanted to do or I just didn't feel like doing it anymore, Yeah. And now that I've got this whole setup, and this is over years of like, okay, what do you want for Christmas? Okay, I want these speakers, and then the next year I need to get this interface. So if you could give me some money to help me buy that, like that kind of thing. And my dad helped me buy a few things, and so it was over years of like building up, and now finally I have what I need. And I did all the vocals for our new record right here, like with my daughter in my
incredible.
lap. Just insane. So what you can get done today for the price too is, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's where it got me with this last record. I knew I just can't do it the old way anymore. I want to do it. I like to strip down. A lot of people like that acoustic stuff too, man. You can do a few songs on your record, or you just have acoustic versions of it, and people love that stuff. My first recording was a 7-song thing that I recorded in one day in Philly. And I think I paid $300 for it. And I used to go to Walmart or wherever, probably Office Depot, and get the little white labels, print on them, put the little sticker on it, and mail them out. People still think that's like my best stuff. You want to choke someone when they say that, but
like all the money and everything you've gone through.
And they're like they want that 7-song white. They call it the white CD, and I'm just like, you guys are assholes, but I understand what you're talking about because, and you could do that at home where it would cost you thousands of dollars, and getting everybody on the same schedule and trying to create right in that moment, and hoping I recorded all my record. I was never in the studio for more than like 5 days, except the first record. It was always like this rush, time crunch. Maybe, probably 5 days of like tracking. except the first record. The first record, there was more time into it, probably too much time, but
yeah.
A lot of times, shoestring budget and just knock it out. But
it's the world of the DIY musician, man. It's like every record that we've done has been, okay, you got 2 weeks, then you're going back on tour. Okay, you got 3 weeks, then you're going back on tour. It's like,
yeah,
fuck, dude. And then, I remember back in the day, it took us for our second record, Do It For The Money. It took 6 years to put out a record, but once we actually started working on it, it actually took 2 years of recording, of like scraping money together and finding the time and scheduling with our engineer, like just trying to make it happen. And I'm so glad those days are over. Like,
yeah,
you just block the time out for a few weeks or whatever it is, and you get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to go through all that. You got to go through the whole spectrum of the experience, it's all part of it.
It's all part of it, and you got to learn to appreciate it, what you have now,
and try to remember it and document the times more so you remember it, so you don't make the same mistakes over and over again.
Exactly. So what was the point where you decided that you were going to take a long break? You were gone for a while.
Oh, I know. It wasn't supposed to be that long. Well, my dad wasn't doing, he had a scare. My dad had cancer for a little while, but he had kidney cancer when he was younger. When he was like 40, and then so we only had one kidney, and then they found it on another one. So I came back to kind of. I just got done, and I had a band, and we were in 5 different states, 5 different guys, and we were only together for like a year. And I'm like, this is not long enough for us to be living this far apart. You could do that if you've been in a band for a decade and you already got everything locked.
Right.
But not in your first year. So I'm like, well, I'm going to take, 6 months, and then and I was back east. We had finished a tour on the East Coast, and I was living with a couple, and they had moved out of the place I was at. So I was like, okay, I'll just, we did an East Coast tour. I brought all my stuff back to the East Coast, and then that happened with my dad, and I was kind of waiting to see how things were going to go, and luckily he was able to, thank God for technology these days, because they were able to handle it way better than they did the one he got in the 1980s, where they just removed his whole kidney. And that put a lot of things in perspective with me and the way I was like treating my body, and we just never stopped. And those were the days when we were doing 7 to 9 week tours, which was just ridiculous. There was no reason to be doing that.
It gets redundant and unnecessary after like 5 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just harder to make money when you're at the not at top level stuff here. So I hung around to make sure everything, to put in the family time. And that was like, it was supposed to be 6 months, and then it was a year. And then for some reason, for some reason my voice stopped working. I think it was my diet. I think there was a lot of stress going on with the family, worrying about that, worrying about career. And I kind of took it out like on the live show and not using in-ears, and I think I blew out my voice over all that time, like kind of nonstop touring. And so it was supposed to be like a year off, ended up being, over, it took me another year to like change my diet and realize like everything, start like getting in shape again, being like, cut out drinking. I had to cut out drinking for a while because of my throat. So then it was kind of getting back in the scene, and the scene was changed a little bit, and I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to go, and I joined a management company, and then like we really didn't get going for like an entire year. It was kind of like holding out and trying to see if I can fit in somewhere, and then nothing clicked. And I'm like, dude, oh my God, it's been like almost, I was writing, luckily, and I was like, well, I have a record that I can start recording because I was ready for that. And so what was supposed to be a year started getting creeping on 3 years, not getting the right team of people. And then, that's just, you start thinking after a while, well, maybe I'm supposed to be doing something else. You know what I mean? Within music, of course,
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm not supposed to be a touring musician, so I started trying to connect with different songwriters. But that game's weird too these days, because it's kind of, there's people who are making money don't want to break off that little piece of the pie that they work so hard to get to, and
Right.
I understand that. So I learned that lesson, but all this lesson cost me time. So then I put out my new record, but I really didn't. I still was with the management company, and I didn't really shop it. I just was kind of like, I just want to release. I want the feeling of releasing a creative project that I'm proud of, and then everything else will fall into place. And then it started slowly doing that. So that was good, and I'm just happy with the feedback on everything on the record. And that was like a year and change ago. So
Hotel
now
Rendezvous was a good record, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Dude,
it
fucking, what is it?
a lot of different stuff.
Let You Go, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
This song is so good. That's like, yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite songs by you. Like, that one and fucking Nikki and fucking Back Burner,
Yeah.
like
the
everything I
hook
got, like just, I've always thought you were a great songwriter. And
Thanks,
you have this
man.
cool, unique voice.
As
And,
are you. Yeah.
oh, well,
Yeah.
thanks. And I definitely feel there's a place for you and your style, and I love the idea of you doing anything like tapping into that old vintage reggae sound. I think you would crush that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad. I need some people to be like, yes, go, and push me. Like, I get excited, and I always just, I wish there was some sort of company, or that old time, the Stax record stuff, but in the genre that I could sit there and have like a few different musicians singing, and maybe when I get my studio kind of dialed in, which should be within this month, and getting guys who I like their voices and say, hey, let's write a song, and do something where you're feeding off other people's energy, and because it's so difficult to just keep mustering it all up just alone in your own personal studio, or just whatever it may be. Just takes a lot of energy to do it yourself. Whereas you start, even when I get in the studio with those guys on the last record, that was as energizing as I could have ever asked for. So I want to continue to do that. I was hoping that Killian Studios was that, and we did a couple little sessions, but then he moved, and then I moved. So, that would be so cool to me to write a song, because, I'm sure you have songs where you're like, man, I could hear somebody else singing this song.
Totally.
And have a little, factory where you have a couple different guys that are not really thinking about putting this on my record. It's kind of like it would be its own separate entity. I would love to be a part of something like that, and not to be the star of it either. It's just like one of the players.
Yeah. Just lay back in the cut and just kind of fill your part. Like totally. When I work with this guy James up in he's in New Hampshire now, but he was out of Boston for a while. Like twice now I've gotten together with him and his buddies, and we've kind of felt like a writing team in a way.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of crafting these songs that, like, stylistically they're kind of different, and there wasn't like one kind of sound, but like it just felt cool to be in a room collaborating with like 4 or 5 other dudes, and just throwing my ideas out, and then they'd hit me back with some, well, what about this? And it's a fun experience. It was a different way to do it. I don't normally do it that way. I write most of our stuff, and to be in a room with some people that just kind of like everybody's feeding off of each other And when I get stuck, it's like, well, this, and it's like, oh fuck, well there you go. There's no. It's like a lot. It feels like a lot less pressure.
Yeah, and you're not like, would Ballyhoo do this? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't think, or it's like, my name's my band, and I thought that was going to be a bad thing for a while, but the fact that I've been through so many bands, it probably end up keeping me alive. Like, if I had a band name and I broke up like 8 times, like, that would not be the easiest thing to recover from. Where it's just like, I can't break up with myself. So.
No, yeah. Sometimes I'd like to, but
yeah, sometimes I'd like to have a side project.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it's cool because like you are you. That's the Mike Pinto is the brand. So it's like whatever you're doing is what it is. And I don't know. I'm always stoked to hear what you've got going on. And so speaking on that, so what is the plan? What do you we can kind of wrap it up here. What is the plan? Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? You're getting your studio together. You're going to try to work on a new record. Are you still going to go try to work the Hotel Rendezvous record? Or
yeah, I mean, I haven't even really toured this record that's over a year old, and we're finally doing. We have some dates in December, and down in Florida, we're opening for Zach Deputy. We're doing like
cool
Orlando, Jacksonville. Doing Satellite Beach with Duderman, which is going to be great.
He's great.
I know. I love that guy.
He's going to kill it for you.
Yeah, and we did that acoustic tour. That was cool. I'd like to do another one of those at some point, just like nice little 10-day runs here and there. I'd like to do, I'm trying to get, like I said, everything situated with a band. So if anybody out there is listening, I'm looking for sax and trumpet and some trombone. 2 of the 3 is always good to try to develop a sound. But I do want, I think I'm finally deciding, yes, I am in love with this old Jamaican sound, and the feeling hasn't gone away. Sometimes I like hang on to things because I try not to pressure myself on getting a record out, because I've like forced records before, and but just one, and it was my least favorite record. So I got to be careful with that, because sometimes after all this game you go round and round, and it's like all you got left is the music. So you better be proud of it. And I had done it where I burned myself out and wrote a rushed record and had a lot of regrets. And but so I'm gonna just try to really focus. And luckily, I liked it that the East Coast has winters, man, because you can't do anything but write. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this winter coming up, and we're going to be doing. I'm sure we're going to be doing a Colorado run. I'm trying to get on, some runs upcoming through the summer, So, and just writing for a new record. And
look out for the new record from Mike Pinto, Snowed In.
Coming out 2022.
And you got to put yourself like with no shirt, like with your, with a cup of coffee, like sitting by the fire.
There it is. There it is.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm taking my time. So, I want it to be really good. I want it to be evolved, and I got a lot of shedding to do. Mm-hmm. I want to try to pick up some of the organ as well. I kind of started, but if you don't have the right atmosphere, which I didn't have in San Diego this last year and a half, it's not easy to learn a new instrument.
Well, you're back home on the East Coast. Everything's right with the force.
Yeah. Thanks to friends like you. So I appreciate you keeping me inspired, giving me good advice. And
anytime, man.
Yeah, I think we're playing in Baltimore. We're doing in February. We're doing that Frozen Harbor Festival thing.
Everybody's fucking doing that shit. Just talk to someone else is doing that. It's awesome.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Rob gets around.
Yeah. I'm glad to be a part of that. So I'm, going to have a band ready on the East Coast. We're playing San Diego and Long Beach on the Thanksgiving Eve, right around 20th and 21st. So we're getting there. I'm trying to figure out the logistics now that my band is still in SoCal, and how to make that all work. So hopefully get on some support gigs, and I like doing the acoustic too. The acoustic is fun, man. It's intimate. I really enjoyed the run that we had.
That was a lot of fun. It was a short and sweet kind of thing, and it just, I don't know, it was nice. We had pretty good turnouts for the most part, and everybody seemed to really enjoy it, because it was something different. And I hadn't done that. I hadn't done like a tour. I've done 1,000 acoustic shows, but never on a tour, different cities every night, and it was fun to do, and it was cool to do with like you and Russ and Chris and Jason, and just a good vibe. And they're working on that again, so I'm sure if not already, you'd definitely be getting a call for it,
Yeah, that would be fun to be a part of that again. And it's just good to be on the East Coast again. Have another experience to put into the writing, and see how it all turns out. I'm excited.
That's great. Well, where can everybody find you?
Well, you can find me on Spotify. Everything's on MikePintomusic.com, and all that Facebook, Pandora.
On the Instagram.
Oh yeah, Instagram, Mike Pinto Music as well. That would be the place to go.
Hit him up, everybody. Give him a follow. This dude is great. I've known him for a long time, and he writes cool songs. You should go check it out and go buy up his stuff. He's a legit dude.
Thank you, Howie.
Dude, thanks for fucking coming on the show, man.
Yeah, let me know if there's anything I could do. I'm in debt to you, so I'm looking forward to the day where I can help you out.
You don't owe me anything.
I know. I'm just letting you know. I got your back.
It. You just got to make me some Italian food.
Yeah, I can make gnocchi. That's all. That's probably all I can really cook.
I don't even know what that is.
Maybe.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's like a dumpling, little pasta dumpling.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll have
Sexy.
I have a house, so if the Ballyhoo boys are ever in, you guys play Asbury, I'm still I'm like 25 minutes. I'm in a town called Bayville. It's quiet, but there's a lot of young,
whippersnappers.
Yeah, a lot of people, because it's, you're going to actually afford to live here. So, it's kind of cool. I feel like, an adult. It's good shit.
Right on. How are the burritos?
Oh, there's a Mexican place that's out of this world. I think it really helped my transition. It's called Las Aztecas, and everything is like crude Mexican paintings on the wall. It's like, yes. The music is there. There's always soccer on the
TVs.
Spanish. So
perfect.
It's been my saving grace, because they do got that good Mexican down in SoCal, especially San Diego.
Amazing.
So, yeah. Right on, brother.
Well, dude, it was great to talk to you. We don't talk that often, but when we do, it's always nice.
Yeah, well, now I'm kind of a neighbor. We got Delaware in between us, unfortunately, but we're practically neighbors. So I'll make sure I come out next time you guys are in Asbury. I was out of town the last time you were here, and I'll let you know if
gotta join us on stage or something.
Ooh, that could be fun. And then Baltimore too. I don't know what you're doing, but you're probably, I think it's February 22nd.
Yeah, I think we're going to be on tour. We're wrapping some things up. I think we'll be on tour.
All right. Well, let's stay in touch, and thanks for having me, man.
You got it, man. Tell the missus I said hello.
All right. You as well. Tell the family I said hi.
You got it, man. All right. Later, bro. All right, man. Mike Pinto, thanks so much for coming on the show, buddy. So please go check him out on all the socials and Spotify and YouTube and Apple and all that stuff. Go get his music. He deserves it. He's a good dude, and I think he's a great songwriter, and I think he needs to be in your playlist. Please don't forget to rate 5 stars if you would at iTunes. That really helps the podcast get noticed and more people checking it out. So thank you very much. We're getting almost 600 average streams on the whole show, so it's really great. It's really getting out there. It used to be like 200 and 300 streams on average, so thank you very much. Please keep spreading the word, man. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you real soon. Catch you on another episode of Tales from the Green Room.